everybody. Welcome in to another episode of the NFL Seekers podcast. Today, we're going to be previewing week 5 of the NFL season. Pretty surreal that we're already in week 5. It kind of sounds crazy to say. But yeah, there's teams on bye week this week, so it's going to be a different one. How are you?
Crazy. It doesn't feel like that's real that we're already 5 weeks into the season. It's getting cold outside. And yeah, this week for fantasy, we'll have some implications because bye weeks are now upon us, which just doesn't feel real. But I'm doing good. I'm excited for this week. It's kind of do or die for me in fantasy in our main league, so I'm stressing a little bit. I need a much needed win coming this week, and hopefully I'm crossing my fingers I get it. I'm projected to win by like 20, but I was last week, and somehow the Seattle Seahawks defense scored 35 on Monday Night Football, and the rest was history.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be fine. Your team's pretty good, so I'm sure your team will be fine. But yeah, it's getting too cold for me outside, man. Like it's just way too cold for me. I love that it's football season, but it's way too cold outside already.
Oh yeah, I got the big jacket on right now because I left the windows open in my house and it's freaking chilly in here. So I'm all bundled up for this one.
Yeah, I got a hoodie on in like every single episode because I just get too cold these days. But we'll get on to the games. Stores is the picks champ right now. He's got two weeks in a row, so I got to try to regain my form here. But we'll get on to the Thursday night game tonight. The Bears are going to go into Washington and play the Commanders, who are 5.5 point home favorites. I remember these two teams played each other last year on Thursday night, and I like vividly remember the game because it just was so gross, and I wanted to claw my eyes out. But yeah, I feel like this game's going to be a little bit gross as well. I feel like everyone's kind of expecting that. I guess I do expect Brian Robinson to absolutely eat on the Bears defense. The Bears defense is just absolutely terrible. The Bears are kind of a mess. The whole Chase Claypool situation's kind of a mess, and Washington's coming off a pretty good performance against the Eagles, and I thought Sam Howell played pretty good, and he impressed me at the end, kind of coming back and forcing overtime.
Yeah, no, the Commanders were very impressive last week. And then even the Bears and Justin Fields looked, I mean, obviously they're playing a weak Broncos defense and weak secondary, but I mean, they looked pretty good. Justin Fields, I mean, outside of that one last minute fumble, which was just unfortunate for him because he played such a flawless game, and he was pretty much perfect through the air. They really blew that one last minute. But your Broncos got the win, so that's all that matters for you. And before I say any more, do you want to hurry and speak on the news of Randy Gregory getting cut and JC Jackson being traded to the Patriots?
Yeah, Randy Gregory being cut's crazy. I'm sure a contender will like to have him. If he's out on the field, he's always, out injured or, not really on the field. But when he's on the field, he's a beast. So that's pretty interesting. The Broncos are just such a mess. It kind of makes sense. And yeah, that whole JC Jackson situation is crazy. It was just kind of ended up being a complete disaster for LA. Kind of a side note, but that was a disaster, man.
Oh, it hurts my soul. JC Jackson played a total of 7 games for the Los Angeles Chargers and is walking away with $40 million. So, and we're taking on, I think, like $18 million of dead cap next year. We're paying pretty much his whole salary this year. I guess I really don't understand that.
That's
Why
painful.
why not just hold on to him this year for the rest of the year? I mean, because you're pretty much just given the Patriots will end up taking his salary and reworking the contract. The numbers just don't make a lot of sense for me to trade him at this point. And why not keep him until the end of the season? But I did know he publicly criticized the coaching. And so, when you do that, your relationship kind of gets tainted, and they just moved off him really quick. And he was struggling. He struggled. But I mean, really, it's kind of to be expected for me as a Chargers fan seeing that. I mean, everyone was off, wanting his head and wanting answers and why he wasn't performing. So it was getting pretty toxic there. But the Randy Gregory thing really just blew my mind. I was just kind of a head scratcher for me. So that was interesting.
Yeah, it was completely out of the blue. I did not expect it at all. Either one, really. The JC Jackson thing just kind of happened so fast. But yeah, kind of a side tangent, just completely random news that happened.
Also, Chase Claypool probably going to be cut from the Bears. I know they're looking for a late round pick for him, but I don't think anyone's going to give him that.
Yeah, I guess that'll transition us back into this game. The Bears, man, Ryan Poles, what a mess that trade was. Chase Claypool trade might be the worst trade in like NFL history already. Like
Ended
Ryan
up being a
Poles is
first.
yeah, Ryan Poles is looking like a mess. That was for Joey Porter Jr., man.
Yeah, ridiculous. I mean, yeah. On that note, I'm sure the Steelers are freaking doing backflips as they got rid of this dude. But yeah, tough break for the Bears. But this game's gonna be. I think it's gonna be closer than what people think. However, I have the Commanders winning this one. They looked so good against the Eagles last week. They've been really in every football game, and Sam Howell's playing a good style of football. And I do expect Brian Robinson just to eat in this one. And I hope we see a quarterback showdown. I hope DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin are out there scoring. I hope this game's exciting. I want it to be high scoring. I'd like it to be a 30-point game, but I kind of have a feeling it might be kind of an ugly mess and they might play to the level of the Bears, the Commanders. But I think the Commanders will go ahead and win this one.
Yeah, I do agree that it will be a pretty close matchup. But yeah, I do think the Commanders are just kind of too good in the end. We'll get on to the next game. The Jaguars are going to play the Bills in London, and it's kind of unfair. Like the Jaguars have a big advantage in this. They get to stay in London for 2 weeks, so I guess that kind of evens out the playing field here because the Bills are coming off of just the incredible performance. Josh Allen's looking like the absolute MVP right now. So it's a tough matchup. You got the Jaguars staying in London 2 weeks. They're familiar with the territory, and they're good. They're coming off a good win, and then you've got the Bills who are looking like the team to beat in the AFC, and they're a bowling ball.
Has any team played 2 London games in a row? Is this the
That's
first?
just the Jaguars because they're moving to London soon. That's their new home city is the London Jaguars.
I know, yeah. It's not official yet, right?
No, they're just really trying to push it. Like London
Yeah.
is really trying to push it. Like I saw in the stands, even like in the nosebleeds, they had Jaguars like flags that they were definitely giving all the fans there. Like London's really trying to push the Jags to London.
I know the owner like a year or two ago was like out like speaking like he actually wants to move the team there.
Yeah.
Uh, that'd be interesting. It seems kind of weird to have a team in London, like out of the country. Seems just crazy, but I mean, you never know. The NFL is always growing and going in new directions. So that'd be pretty exciting for the league. It'd be cool to go see your favorite team go play in London, even though they might every year have a chance. But that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean that is definitely a huge advantage for the Jaguars not having to travel all the way out to London. And yeah, they're already going to be used to the time zone change where it's going to probably throw the Bills off a little bit. But however, Josh Allen's playing, like you said, he's playing MVP football. And I don't think this Jaguars team is going to be able to keep up with him. I mean, how he played against the Dolphins last week was a true MVP type game for him. And Stephon Diggs out there just making Cater Kohu, it just look like he was like varsity versus JV out there is what Cater Kohu versus Stephon Diggs looked like last week. And the Bills defense is rolling. I mean, they're firing on all cylinders and they look explosive. They're probably one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL right now. And if I was the Jaguars, I wouldn't want to be playing them, but they definitely do have the advantage. However, I think Josh Allen and the Bills are too hot, and I think they'll win this game with ease. If I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, the Bills lost Trey White, so that kind of is an equalizer there. Like Trey White is a big loss. They're gonna have Kyer Elam filling in for him, who's been a healthy scratch every single week this year, which is he was a first round pick 2 years ago, so that's a disaster right there. So you're gonna have to really trust that Elam steps up. But other than that, this Bills team is just rolling. They looked so good. They looked so impressive on all ends. Doug McDermott's done a really good job on the defensive end. He's impressed me. And yeah, the offense is just absolutely buzzing. So love to see that. Love to see Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs just absolutely dominating and clicking on all cylinders. Yeah, I think we all got the Bills in this one.
Yeah, don't need to watch it. Move on.
Don't got to wake up early Sunday morning. We'll get on to the first of the 1:00 games. The Ravens are going to go into Pittsburgh and play the Steelers. The Ravens are 4-point road favorites. I think part of that is because Mitchell Trubisky is starting in this one. I don't know. Personally, I think that might be better for the Steelers. Like in fantasy, especially. I think the Steelers fantasy options might benefit with Mitch Trubisky in there. But yeah, the Ravens are looking really good. They're kind of one of the more positive teams so far this year. They're rolling through teams other than that Colts loss. Lamar is looking like an MVP candidate as well. Yeah, you just love what you're seeing from the Ravens on all aspects of the ball right now.
Oh man, yeah, I think the Ravens are going to dominate this one. I think they're gonna be sacking Mitch Trubisky. I think the Steelers are quite frankly a mess right now. Matt Canada, their offensive coordinator, some of the things he said, and just what kind of quality, just he's a horrible offensive coordinator. I'll say it right now, he's absolutely terrible. And the fact that he said his team's not built to to last in like what do you say? We're not built to last in long games or something. It's like what?
He's so terrible. He's delusional.
Yeah,
He needs to be gone.
that dude needs to be fired. He's absolutely awful. And then on the other side of the ball, Lamar Jackson. Gosh, he looks like the old Lamar Jackson. It looks so refreshing watching him play when he's running for 2 touchdowns and passing for 2 touchdowns. It's just he's one of the most electric players in the NFL. Zay Flowers, one of the most electric rookies already in the NFL. And their defense is just always solid. And I think they'll come in here and they'll roll over the Steelers, who just quite frankly look like a mess right now.
And in fantasy, you got to start Zay Flowers just every week. You love Mark Andrews. You kind of want to trade for Mark Andrews right now. He's looking awesome, coming off a big performance. He's going to be awesome all year long. And on the Steelers, you kind of just start George Pickens, and then between Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, it's really really rough. Like, who would you rather start out of those two?
I mean, I guess I'm just rolling with Najee because I think he's going to get more of the touchdown opportunities. I'm not even sure if Najee has even scored a touchdown this year, to be honest with you. Can we get a stat check on Najee? Has he actually gotten in the end zone this year?
Let's see here. I don't believe he has, but let me double check.
I'll try and look it up too. Whoever finds it first.
Yeah, no rushing touchdowns, no receiving touchdowns, 0 touchdowns for Najee.
Oh gosh, yeah, his fantasy points in a PPR league are 5, 5, 6, 11. Oh man, that's brutal. That's not what you like to see right there from Najee Harris. I mean, he started off last year absolutely awful too, so maybe he'll have a late season bounce back. But their offensive line only got better this year, and they got a really good blocking tight end. So I'm kind of just confused why the offense isn't clicking better. But I think at this point you need to fire Matt Canada and move in a different direction because I mean they look terrible. But yeah, and then Zay Flowers, I think you kind of have this dude is a must start because the Ravens are feeding him. He's getting like 13 plus targets every game. It's ridiculous. He's clearly their wide receiver one. Obviously Mark Andrews is a stud, but honestly on the Steelers, I guess George Pickens, Pat Fryermuth is hurt. Gosh, I don't even want to start their running backs at this point, just seeing how terrible they are. They might just be better bench options, to be honest with you. But I mean, I feel like if you drafted Najee, you're kind of forced to start him. But if you have better options, even like Brian Robinson, people like that, look that way.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like we all have the Ravens on this one. We'll get on to the next game. It's a fun AFC South matchup. The Titans are going to go into Indy and play the Colts, who are coming off a pretty good performance despite losing to the Rams. I thought Anthony Richardson really impressed in the second half of last game, just coming back and just he's a beast. I love Anthony Richardson. Love his arm. Like he throws a seam and it's just like just something I've never seen before. His arm talent is incredible. He throws absolute lasers down the field. So love to see that. And the Titans are definitely like the better team in this matchup. They're coming off a pretty good win against the Bengals, where kind of just dominated the Bengals. So yeah, I think this is a good matchup. The Colts kind of present a challenge for the Titans, and the AFC South matchups are always tight. So this is a really hard one to pick. I still haven't picked them really to talk about it.
Yeah, when it's a divisional matchup, it's always so much tougher because no matter what, division teams always play each other better. They're more prepared for each other. They know the scheme, they know the system, they work on it all year long. They see it twice a year, so it's always closer than what you think. And this one's a real head scratcher for me too. Shane Steichen has got Anthony Richardson and even Gardner Minshew when he's playing really good football. And Jonathan Taylor may return this week. I'm not too sure if he'll get on the field, but he was a full participant in practice today, which is huge for the Colts. So that, I mean, that could be definitely a game changing factor right there.
Jonathan Taylor's a big X factor in this one. The Titans have a really good run defense, but he's a big X factor. I'm interested to see if he goes.
For sure. But however, my gut's telling me that I think the Titans just always play the Colts well. I've watched a lot of their football games, and it seems like the Titans just always seem to have the Colts number. And Derrick Henry, running angry last week. I think he's going to pick up right where he left off. He was playing really good football. They just shut out the Bengals 27-3 last week. And I think they'll roll in here, and I think it'll be a really close game, but I have the Titans beating the Colts in this one.
Yeah, the Titans did impress me last week against the Bengals. They kind of just like I said, dominated them. Like they just kept it going and kept rolling like they were the 49ers or something. So I actually am going to take the Titans. They impressed me, but I do think this is going to be a really, really, really close game in Indy. I could easily see it going both ways. And Anthony Richardson's a real star. So you love to see that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Going to be an exciting one. Stay tuned for this one. Have it on your, if you got NFL, what is it? Not Game Pass.
Multi-view on YouTube.
Yeah, Sunday ticket, multi-view. Have this one pulled up on the bottom of your screen. It'll be an exciting one.
Definitely. We'll get on to the next one. The Saints are going to go into New England and play the Patriots. The Patriots are 1-point favorites. It's kind of a nasty one, kind of a tough one to pick. And I've been kind of getting terrible vibes from the Patriots this season. Like nothing's really going right now with obviously Christian Gonzalez going down out for season. That's terrible. Like we just talked about trading for J.C. Jackson. That'll probably end up not going well. And yeah, I don't know. The Saints haven't really looked too explosive. I know Derek Carr is injured. Hopefully he can start slinging it downfield a little bit more because he was just dinking and dunking it last game and it was rough to watch. Their offense was very anemic. So I do expect a pretty anemic offensive performance on both ends in this one. But yeah, the Patriots at home does make me want to lean that way.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks the Patriots are losing Christian Gonzalez, for the season. J.C. Jackson will probably step in there and be amazing under Bill Belichick's system, which is going to pain me as a Chargers fan. But however, I think the Saints are just going to be pretty flat on offense. I don't really see them being high scoring, and the Patriots defense is just so solid and so consistent and good that I see the Patriots defense even like picking off Derek Carr and scoring, on the defensive side of the ball, and even special teams. So that's where I think the Patriots are going to win in this one is from special teams and defense. I think it's just superior and a lot better than the Saints is. And I think Mac Jones, if he starts, or Bailey Zapp, they gotta start playing better. And I think, Bill Belichick's gonna light a fire under their ass. And this offense has gotta improve, and it's gotta improve fast. And they look bad too. I mean, both sides offense don't look good, but it's the Patriots defense and special teams that just has me leaning that way right now. So I'm gonna take the Patriots to win in this one.
Yeah, with them being at home, I definitely can't blame you for that. This 1-point spread kind of says it all, but I am going to take the Saints. It's really close, but I am going to take the Saints if Derek Carr is hopefully he's healthier than last week, and hopefully he can actually play some football, because last week he wasn't really playing quarterback. So as long as Derek Carr is healthy, I do think the Saints are a little bit better of a team right now. So I'm going to take the Saints in a close game.
Yeah, I like that. I almost like if Jameis Winston played for the Saints more at this point. I just feel like it would add a little bit more fire to their offense, which would make it more exciting to watch. And I think they would light up the scoreboard more.
Yeah, it would be way more explosive, add a lot more volatility. I would take some picks if I can get more points on the scoreboard. Like they had 9 points last week.
Honestly, I would love for like the Jets to trade for Jameis Winston. I think that would be like such an exciting thing for, not a guy that's going to take Aaron Rodgers' spot next year or whatever, but a true guy that can come in here and light up the scoreboard for the offense. That would be that. I'm going to throw that out right now. Jameis Winston to the Jets would be awesome. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, Jameis would be a really fun option for the rest of the season. Even Gardner Minshew would be a really good option. He showed that he's the top 32 quarterback in the NFL as well. But we'll get on to the next game, which is honestly a really, really fun matchup. It intrigues me. The Texans are going to go into Atlanta and play the Falcons, who are 2-point favorites at home. And man, CJ Stroud, man, that man is just getting more confident by the week. I was watching a a press conference today where he was essentially stating that he's going to take over Houston and kind of be that guy in Houston and put his name out there on the map. And he said it in a humble way. He's not too cocky, and he's just a cool, confident, collected quarterback. He does not look like a rookie at all, and that's the best compliment I could really give a guy. He does not look like a rookie in any way whatsoever. He's just awesome. So you love to see that from the Texans. And then on the Falcons end, you don't really have the same to say about their quarterback, but you can definitely say that about their running back. They've got an incredible running game, and it'll be interesting to see how that kind of goes against each other.
This would be a really fun. I honestly, this is another one that you got Sunday ticket and you got multi view. This is going to be a kind of a fun one. It's going to be fun to watch. Arguably the two rookie of the years battle it out against each other. Because I mean, I think at this point we can narrow it down to Bijan Robinson and CJ Stroud. Both these dudes are just electric and so fun to watch and so unique with how they're playing football in their rookie seasons. I'll talk about CJ Stroud and the Texans first. Honestly, D'Amico Ryans. I'm gonna throw this out here too. Maybe Coach of the Year candidate. Dude looks awesome. He's really got this Texans team clicking on all cylinders, way faster than they should be. I mean, they look like so much more mature and better of a team than what you'd expect for really a young football team. And all their fantasy options and stuff. At this point, you can plug and play CJ Stroud as a QB1. If you were lucky enough to pick him up, he's been throwing for 300 plus yards every week, and you can really count on a touchdown or two. And he's and no turnovers too, which is substantial and huge. So I mean, this Texans football team, I'll say it. I say it every podcast. This is my sweetheart team. I love the Texans. I'm rooting for them this season. Obviously outside of my Chargers, but this is my team. I absolutely love their culture. I love their coaching staff. I love the players. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Damian Pierce. They're just such a fun, young, exciting team, and I just can't say enough good things about this team. But honestly, all their fantasy options are looking fantastic. And if you can't tell by the way I'm talking, I'm going to be taking the Texans in this one. I could go on forever. This team is so fun, so awesome to watch. And then on the other side of the ball, I love Bijan Robinson. He's absolutely electric, but I don't know if he's going to be able to carry this team by himself for much longer. And I think D'Amico Ryans and the Texans will take this one.
Yeah, I think Bijan will absolutely go off in this game. I think Bijan has like an outlier game in fantasy. But I am going to hop on the train with you, and I'm going to go with the Texans. I trust D'Amico to kind of frustrate Ritter, who's really been struggling. I think he has another tough game. And yeah, Will Anderson's been looking like he's worth that trading up and drafting him. So love to see what you're seeing from the Texans. D'Amico Ryans, it's really clicking on all cylinders. So
maybe get Gardner Minshew to the Falcons at this point. We need some quarterback changes in the NFL. There's too many guys that are starting that aren't top 32 quarterbacks, and it's frustrating to watch. It really is.
It's just sad because the defense, for the Jets' sake, especially, like their defense just truly deserves a competent quarterback that gives them a chance to compete. And same with the Falcons, like they've kind of earned that. Like their defense is playing a lot better. Their talent is really good on the offensive side of the ball. So the Falcons and Jets, like they just honestly deserve a really good quarterback because that's how good they are.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that the two quarterbacks we're talking about. They're not top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. There's backups that are substantially better. I mean, when we're talking Jameis Winston, Gardner Minshew, even Josh Dobbs, who's a backup, is way better. It's just crazy to me. And even Mariota for the Falcons would have been a better option this year. Not that Mariota should even be a starting quarterback, but he is better. He's than the top 30, these bottom 32 guys. And so it's just, I don't know. I think teams are too complacent, and you got to make moves for better quarterbacks, especially when you're the Jets and you have arguably a top 3 defense in the NFL and really good offensive weapons in Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook and on and on and on.
And the Falcons are the mini Jets, man. So yeah, I think watching CJ Stroud in this game is going to have Falcons fans kind of agreeing with us and feeling the same way and wanting a CJ Stroud. But we'll get on to the next game. The Giants are going to go into Miami and play the Dolphins, who are 11-point home favorites. A pretty big spread in this one, which is totally deserved. The Giants have been so bad. Like they've really, really disappointed me. Probably the most disappointing team in the NFL so far. Dable's disappointing me. Yeah, the
Dable
Giants
looks like hot trash right now.
yeah,
Dude's terrible.
Yeah, the Giants have just been struggling on all aspects, and this is kind of a perfect matchup for the Dolphins, who are, other than last week against the Bills, just rolling over everyone. So there's not really much of analysis to give. The Dolphins are kind of out. The Giants are outmatched in this one.
Yeah, this might be, I mean, I don't know how much, vengeance Mike McDaniels has against the Giants, but it could be another Broncos type looking game if that's the case, if he's got some unsettled beef. So they're going to be angry from that Bills game last week, and they're going to run up the scoreboard, and they're too talented of a roster, too talented of a team. This Giants team is just struggling. They looked like hot garbage against the Seahawks, which was really disappointing. Gave up 11 sacks. Daniel Jones was awful. The coaching staff was awful. The defense, I mean, everything was awful. I mean, it looks like Saquon, who wasn't even playing, was their best player from the sideline. I mean, you almost wanted Saquon on, with a broken ankle. Just get out there, just do something, because it was.
He actually led the team in rushing, so
Yeah.
and receiving, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, I mean, step on the field, and he was their leading receiver and rusher. But yeah, pretty pathetic from the Giants this year. Yeah, Dolphins by 100. Let's just put that. Don't even need to watch this game. It's going to be embarrassing. It's going to be sad.
Yeah, all you can really do is laugh with the Giants. Need to see them be better. They need to prove a lot. They've really let a lot of people down. And yeah, we'll get on to the next one. The Panthers are going to go into Detroit and play the Lions, who are 9.5-point favorites, and they're just coming off a great performance, so that's deserved. You love what you see from Aaron Glenn. He's doing a great job at defensive coordinator. They're just playing awesome. Aiden Hutchinson leads the league and in pressures. Brian Branch is looking like the steal of the draft. Jared Goff is just playing great football. Montgomery and Gibbs are like the best running back duo. You just love what you're seeing from the Lions, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's just complimentary football, all sides of the ball. Everyone's doing their job. They're clicking on all cylinders. Yeah, and the Lions just look fantastic. Another one of mean years. I mean, we were hyping them up all off season. We kind of knew this was what's in store, that they'd be looking this good. And then, however, on the other side of the ball, the Panthers just struggling. They're just quite not there yet. They're young. Frank Wright just hasn't quite figured it out with Bryce Young yet. Kind of like the expectations for the Texans, who've just absolutely gone way above what we thought really what they'd be, even though we were hyping them up all offseason too, the Texans. But the Panthers just really having those, rookie quarterback struggles. Just the team is not clicking yet. They're, and like I keep saying, they're a year or two out. But in this one, the Lions just playing, too good of complimentary football and should make pretty light work of this one.
Yeah, it's rumored that the Panthers are looking for a wide receiver one, like a Hollywood or a Judy or Sutton or something. I think that's a great idea. I think that's definitely needed and kind of what is clearly missing. They needed alpha in this offense to really kind of boost it and help out Bryce Young. And yeah, like you said, they're kind of a year away and kind of a beast away.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. There has been rumors they're looking for a true wide receiver one. Trading DJ Moore away, I mean, obviously it might be worth it in the long run because you're able to get up there and get Bryce Young, who yet to see really, really click. But we're only a few games in the NFL season. But yeah, they're missing that vital wide receiver alpha type player on that offense. They don't really have it in the tight end room. Adam Thielen's pretty old. He's a good veteran present, but he's not a true beast. Their running back room doesn't have, quite a Bijan or a Derrick Henry or something like that. So yeah, they really are missing that alpha, player on that offense. And hopefully they trade. I'd like to see an exciting trade or something, maybe even like a T Higgins or something go there. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, T Higgins would be incredible with Bryce Young. That'd be really, really fun. That would be a dream option for Carolina. But yeah, I think in the end, the Lions are kind of just too good in this one, and you don't really got to watch it because we all got the Lions here.
Yeah. Don't watch this one. They'll make light work of it. You can watch the highlights later.
Yeah. It's gonna be a lock. We'll get on to the next one. The Eagles are gonna go into LA and play the Rams, and the Eagles are 4.5-point road favorites. And I don't know. The Eagles have definitely been like squeaking by most of their games this season. This could definitely be a trap game in LA. I could definitely see this being a close game because the Rams offenses look good. They've been pretty explosive. Stafford's look good. And the Eagles secondary is kind of the one thing that's kind of been their weakness. They've been allowing some receiving yards. So I could see the Rams kind of getting theirs in the receiving game. Cooper Kupp might be back. So yeah, I think this is actually kind of a trap game, and it's going to be a really close one in LA.
I was just gonna say my internal gut tells me it's going to be a lot closer than what we think. And, the Rams are going to hang in there and they've been playing aggressive, good football. And yeah, like you said, Cooper Kupp might be back this week, might be playing this week, which would be crazy because to see him and Puka Nakua is going to be super fun. That's going to be super exciting. I mean, Stafford kind of always stares down one guy, and it was Cooper Kupp, and now it's Puka Nakua. But both of them on the field, that might be crazy. He's comfortable with both. They're both gonna get, theirs. Cooper Kupp will probably get more if he's back on the field, but that's gonna be exciting. And this, like you said, this Eagles team every week they're just squeaking. I mean, they're undefeated. Which I mean, a win's a win at the end of the day. We're not gonna argue at how you win, but they are just squeaking out of these ones, and they have not looked like the Eagles of last year. But this could be a trap game. However, I have to go with the Eagles. They're just too talented overall. Looks like Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown started finally cooking last week, so that's lethal and scary. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles in this one, but I think they're gonna just barely squeak out of this one and move to 5-0.
Yeah, I think AJ Brown might be in for another really, really electric performance here in this one. I'm gonna go the Eagles as well, kind of the same reason. It's gonna be a close one in LA, but the Eagles are just kind of too good. But yeah, it kind of feels like they have a loss kind of coming. It feels kind of
Like
inevitable here.
blooming, but yeah, they
Yeah.
haven't really played a electric offense, like a Bills or Chargers or a high scoring team that could that could give them that upset.
Yep. Well, it's gonna be a fun one. I guess we'll see if it's this week, but we'll get on to the next one. The Bengals are gonna go into Arizona and play the Cardinals, and the Bengals are 3-point road favorites. And this is a lot closer of a matchup than anyone could have predicted before the season. Like it's a really tough one to pick, and I feel like you'd be called crazy if you said that a few weeks ago.
I know. I mean, we'd be laughing like, oh, the Bengals are going to go in there and play that Cardinals team. Ha, that's just going to be a blowout. But you know what? I think it's going to be the other way around. I think the Cardinals are playing like their freaking helmets are on fire, and the Bengals over here are asleep at the wheel, just awful. The Bengals have looked awful. I mean, there's two out of the 4 games they haven't even scored a touchdown. They've been held to 3 points in 2 out of the 4 games. And you know what? The Cardinals are, they might not have the talent that the Bengals do or the star power, but I mean, these guys are playing, like I said, with their helmets on fire, playing for jobs. Shout out now I blank his name. What's the weird coach?
Jonathan Gannon.
Jonathan, yeah, shout out Jonathan Gannon. that weirdo's got the Cardinals actually playing really hard under him. Maybe his weird speeches are clicking with him in some weird way, but I'm taking the Cardinals in this one, man. Until Joe Burrow and the Bengals prove me otherwise, I don't think they're that team this year. They got to prove otherwise. They have looked flat. They've looked awful. I don't even think they deserve that win against the Rams. They squeaked out of. And I think Bengals are bad this year, and something's not right with that team. And Joe Burrow, after he's got the highest paid salary in the NFL, looks like he forgot to play football, or looks like he forgot how to play football. So, give me the Cardinals in this one. I'm feeling confident about it.
Wow, he's confident about it too. That's pretty crazy. I struggle with this one. I feel like I mean, I was watching a Joe Burrow press conference, and he said it was a must-win game, and he's definitely right. Like they have to win this game. If they don't win this one, it's bad, bad, bad. So that's what's kind of holding me back from your pick. But the Cardinals are playing better football right now. They're playing harder. I think I'm gonna go the Bengals. I'm gonna go against you. I'm gonna go the Bengals just because, like Burrow said, they have to win this game, and they're too good of a football team not to win this surely. But it's gonna be a competitive one, and the Cardinals are playing their asses off for Gannon.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I'm not gonna ride with Joe Burrow until he proves me otherwise. He's got to prove to me that he can, more at 2 out of the 4 games that he can actually put a touchdown on the board. When he's got this type of, when you're throwing to T Higgins, Jamar Chase, you got Joe Mixon coming out of the backfield, like the numbers need to be better. They have to be better. There's no excuse. I don't care if you're hurt. You got to be playing better football.
Yeah, Burrow's simply gonna need to start playing better or just not play if he's hurt. One
Yep.
or the other. And then on the Cardinal side of things too, like Michael Wilson looked absolutely awesome last week. Would you start him in fantasy? Good prospect out of Stanford that we liked.
He seems to be the wide receiver one in this offense, and Josh Dobbs seems to be comfortable playing with him. I don't think I'm quite there on um started him yet. I think he's a back end flex option, or if you have somebody on a buy, he's worth putting in your lineup. But I'm not gonna start him, over most caliber of people. Um, it's funny that I say that because I have Justin Herbert on a buy this week, and I'm the proud owner of Joshua Dobbs starting, and I feel confident in that. But I do think Michael Wilson is is a borderline flex play, especially if somebody's on a buy. I think you could sneak him into your lineups, but I'm not going to go in there and start him over guys. Like obviously first person comes to mind like a Tank Dell or a Nico Collins. Guys around that. I'd probably still start Jordan Addison over him. Trying to think of other players that kind of be around that borderline level. Like Josh Palmer was playing, I'd probably still roll with Josh Palmer. But yeah, I mean, just depends what your flex and how big your league is, but he could be a borderline flex play.
Yeah, and you heard it here first. Stores is riding with Josh Dobbs this week. It's the start of the week, so ride with Josh Dobbs.
That's why I'm feeling confident. He's gonna go out there and he's gonna play hard for me. Josh Dobbs is gonna go out there and he's gonna play some game winning football, and he's gonna lead my fantasy team to a victory, and I'm confident in that.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a good streaming option like this week and pretty much every week because just of how hard the Cardinals play. So they're going to be scoring. And with that, we'll get on. We'll get on to the next one. The Chiefs are going to go into Minnesota and play the Vikings. The Chiefs are 4.5-point road favorites, and this could be a close one. It could be a shootout in Minnesota. Obviously, the Vikings are coming off their first win. They've just really struggled though. Kirk Cousins is coming off a bad performance, even though he's had a pretty good season. The Chiefs are coming off not too great of a performance in New York. Isaiah Pacheco, this man right here, absolutely balled out and showed that he can kind of put a game on his shoulders. But yeah, this is an interesting matchup. I think it'll be kind of a fun watch. I'm sure Justin Jefferson will get loose, even though the Chiefs defense is playing a lot better. But I think in the end, the Vikings defense is a little bit rough and a little bit too rough for this electric Chiefs offense.
I'm just gonna say one feeling I'm having about the Chiefs this year. I don't feel like they're the juggernaut Chiefs of the past 5 years. I don't feel like they're the juggernauts of the AFC. I don't feel like they're the team to beat in the AFC. Obviously, when you have Mahomes, it doesn't matter. You're going to be in any game. Doesn't matter if you have the worst roster in the league. He's going to keep you in every game. But they don't have that true juggernaut feeling. Their wide receivers really don't look too good. And outside of Isaiah Pacheco and Travis Kelce, I mean, and Mahomes, which is enough for them to win every game. I'm not discounting that, but they don't feel like the true juggernauts, and I feel like they're going to lose more games this year. I feel like this is going to be the year, and I've said this when they lost Tyreek Hill, and I'll probably end up biting my tongue, in week 18, when they're AFC champions again, but. I think I'm gonna say I think this is the year that the Chiefs finally regress to the mean, and I think that they're not gonna be the juggernauts of the AFC. I'm gonna throw that out there. I think they are beatable for most every team.
Well, I think with the Bills, how they played last week, I don't think you're very wrong at all. I think the Bills are kind of the juggernaut right now, and how the Dolphins are playing. I don't think you're off. I think there's teams that can hang with them.
Yeah, the AFC East is lethal with the Dolphins and the Bills. I think they are the teams to beat right now in the AFC. I don't feel like the Chiefs have played that good of football, to be honest with you, compared to those teams. And so I think the AFC is kind of revolving around the Dolphins and honestly the Bills over anyone right now, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I think those are the teams to beat. And the Chiefs just don't feel like they're going to go blow every team out of the water. And I think this is going to be a closer game than you think. However, I am taking the Chiefs in this game. Patrick Mahomes versus Kirk Cousins. There's just no way I can't go with Patrick Mahomes in this one, especially when the Chiefs defense has been playing pretty good. Last week when they didn't have Nick Bolton, they definitely regressed a little bit. You could kind of feel that. He's such a good presence in the middle of the field. And they have a couple of key pieces. As long as those guys are on the field, they're just fine. But I'm gonna take the Chiefs in this one. I think Jettis will definitely eat, and I think he'll be in for a big game. But I think the Chiefs are just, Patrick Mahomes is just going to be a little too overwhelming for him for the Vikings.
Yeah, and looks like we all have the Chiefs on this one, so you don't got to watch this one as well.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it. We'll get on to the next game. The Jets are going to go into Denver and play the Broncos. Speaking of games you shouldn't watch, the Broncos are 1.5-point favorites. Surprisingly, it's a Nate Hackett revenge game that everyone's been waiting for. Just not as exciting as a matchup as it was looking like heading into the season. It was looking like one of the more exciting matchups in the preseason with all the beef that Sean Payton and the Jets had. But yeah, it's not looking as exciting anymore. Two teams kind of on the downward trajectory. The Broncos defense is just anemic. If there's any team that the Jets could kind of get some yards on, it's this Broncos defense is the way it's playing right now. So that'll be interesting to see if Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall can kind of break through. I think Breece Hall will have himself a game. They're saying that, or Robert Saleh said that he's not limited anymore, so he's going to be on a full workload. So I think Breece Hall will eat. Garrett Wilson should have a fun matchup against Patrick Surtain, and then you've got the Jets defense, which will give the Broncos offense some fits. Definitely the hardest defense the Broncos offense has faced. So that'll be interesting to see how the Broncos offense fares as well.
Yeah, kind of a gross game, to be honest with you. Kind of gives me gross feelings just thinking about it.
Gross.
Honestly, the Broncos offense has been looking pretty good, and then the Jets defense is obviously insane. Broncos offense and Russell Wilson have looked good this year, to be quite frank with you. Obviously, both teams' records are we're 1-3 on both teams right now.
Yeah.
Both not looking good. Both kind of in must-win situations right here. But honestly, I think it's going to come down to the quarterback play, and I think Russell Wilson is just substantially better, and he's been playing good this year. And I think he's gonna go out there and fight for his life, and I think this game's going to mean a lot to him. And it's funny, and Nathaniel Hackett on the Jets side, I just think the Jets offense is pretty gross. However, they looked okay last week against the Chiefs. Chiefs kind of went into that game asleep, just thinking about Taylor Swift. I don't know if you knew, Danny, but as you kept saying, I mean, you kind of told me, and I'm kind of getting in the loop now. Is Travis Kelce, are they official? Are they dating or something?
Yeah, I think I saw something actually on my phone today on Twitter that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are dating, and she actually might go to their game. So it's crazy.
Oh, really? Should I go to the game, bro? Are you serious?
Crazy stuff.
Oh, man. Yeah, that might be the biggest storyline if Taylor Swift shows up to the game, man. I mean, holy cow. That might be the most entertaining part of this game. But I think the Broncos are going to, I think their offense is going to be able to put up some points. Jets defense so good. They'll shut them out. They'll shut them out. But Broncos are going to get on the board, and their offense and Russell Wilson is just a substantially better quarterback. And, I think the Jets are playing like their heads are on fire and they're fighting for jobs right now. But, I'm going to say a quote for the quarterback of the Jets and Robert Saleh. The definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So I don't know. I mean, how long can this Jets charade go on for? It feels like we're going in a loop for the past 3 years. And obviously it was going to be different this year with Aaron Rodgers. He goes down, but Jets fans, I think we all know it's time for a quarterback change. Get Jameis Winston, get Gardner Minshew, just get a competent quarterback that can go out there and win a game, and actually benefit the team and actually carry the team a little bit, because it's just pathetic watching this defense go out there and fight their tails off every week and then just lose. So kind of crazy. But however, I think this week will be no different. The Broncos will go out there and they'll just put up more points. They'll put up a couple more points. The Jets defense might hold you to 2 touchdowns, but I think those 2 touchdowns will be enough. Even though the Broncos gave up 70 to the Dolphins, I don't think the Jets offense is going to be scoring 20 plus or anything like that. I think that they'll score maybe 7 points.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. Like it's so close. I could easily see it going either way. I'm getting deja vu from last year. These two teams played in Denver around the exact same time. The Jets are having the same quarterback problems, and and the Jets won that game, so that kind of makes me want to pick the Jets. But I'm just going to pick the Broncos because their offense is more improved. I think they could get some points on this good Jets defense. So I'm going to take the Broncos in a close one just because they're at home coming off a win. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, what was the score last year in the Jets Broncos game?
Well, the 2 years ago in Denver, the Broncos won by like 50, but last year the Broncos lost.
16-9, and Brees
Yeah,
Hall
gross.
had some crazy. That was the game Brees Hall got hurt, but he ran for like a
Yep.
70-yard touchdown.
Yep, and that was like the only offensive production in the entire game as a gross one. Probably will be the same this year.
Yeah, and then Brett Ripien was starting for the Broncos at that point last year.
Yeah, he was the best quarterback in the game. But
Yes, he was.
with that, we'll get on to the Sunday night football game. The Cowboys are going to go into San Fran and play the undefeated 49ers, who are 4-point favorites. Very, very interested to see how this one plays out. Interested to see how Purdy does against this incredible defense. Definitely the biggest test for him this season. And for the 49ers, like Christian McCaffrey is just a man on a mission this year. It seems like every single carry he's out to kill someone and just do something crazy. He's doing legendary things. He's going to break some records this season. So love what you're seeing from the 49ers. Ayuk looks like a monster. Debo, Kittle haven't even really gotten started. So the Niners are rolling. And then you've got the Cowboys who are, other than that one loss against the Cardinals, have just been probably the second best team in the NFL, just absolutely rolling over everyone. Looking like it's going to be a really, really good matchup in San Fran in prime time.
This is gonna be a really entertaining one. I'm glad this is a Sunday night football game because this is gonna be electric. I mean, the Cowboys defense has been playing lights out. 49ers, arguably probably the best team in the NFL. I'd argue them and the Bills right now, but this is gonna be electric. And the Cowboys defense was they got to be the highest scoring defense in the NFL right now. I mean, they seems like they blocked 20 kicks, 14 interceptions, 30 sacks, just absolutely balling out. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey and these guys, go against that defense and how they look. This one was honestly harder than it should have been for me to choose. However, of course, I'm going to roll with the 49ers. They're just too good of a team. They're too balanced on both sides. Their offense clicks, their defense clicks, where like the Cowboys defense just really clicks and their offense clicks sometimes. But the 49ers are consistent, and Christian McCaffrey is playing MVP type football right now. And are we going to shoot our shot right now, Dan, and call him MVP already?
He's definitely
Josh Allen, and Tua are just that's the rat race right now we're watching. But Christian McCaffrey probably at this point, in my opinion, probably deserves it if we're only 4 weeks in the season, just with how amazing he is.
Yeah, he's been an outlier, so you could definitely give it to him. I personally am giving it to Josh Allen barely, and I definitely am giving CMC the Offensive Player of the Year. He's probably a lock to win Offensive Player of the Year at least.
For sure. I mean, CMC is just playing absolutely ridiculous brand of football through the air, on the ground. I mean, he looks like the best player in the NFL.
Yeah. And similar to like what we were saying with the Eagles, it feels like the 49ers are due for a loss, and the Cowboys are a really good team. So this could be it. And it's hard to pick the Niners, but you at the same time you have to pick the Niners because they're just the best team in the NFL right now. They kind of earned that crown. They're rolling and they're really fun to watch. This is definitely the game of the week, and I'm so looking forward to this game of Santa Clara.
Oh, for sure. And just to shout out somebody who I called, who I shot my shot on earlier. Michael Parsons is going to be fun to watch in this game. I before the season started, called him my defense player of the year. I'm going to stand by that. The dude is just electric. He's so fun to watch. But the battle of Micah Parsons versus Chris McCaffrey, I mean, there's a lot of storylines in this game that are going to be fun.
Yeah, if you like defensive star power, you've got Micah Parsons and Nick Bosa in this game. So it's going to be really, really electric. Definitely stay glued to this game. It's going to be a fun one Sunday night, and then we'll get on to the Monday night game. Less attractive of a game, but the Packers are, yeah, a little gross, a little nasty, but the Packers are going to go into Vegas and play the Raiders on Monday Night Football. The Packers are 2-point road favorites. It's the Devontae Adams revenge game. I feel like Devontae Adams is going to just absolutely go off. Josh Jacobs will go off like he did last week. I think both will be really good fantasy options, take the over on your underdog slips for especially Devontae Adams. But yeah, I think the Packers coming off a loss might play a little sharper. I think Jordan Love will play a sharper game of football in Vegas. The Raiders defense is pretty much Max Crosby and 10 other humans. It's just Max Crosby and 10 men. So I think the Packers will be able to kind of prevail over the Raiders.
Yeah, I agree with your take there. This is just a gross game. I don't know how much I have to talk about it outside of like the Devontae Adams storyline, a revenge game. I mean, doesn't even feel like a revenge game because it doesn't even feel like he wants to be on the Raiders right now. Seems like him, Josh Jacobs, Marcus Peters, all their top players are kind of calling for Josh McDaniels' head, want him fired.
It seems like Adams might be suiting up in a Packers uniform in the second half. He might just switch sides in the halftime.
Might switch teams. This Raiders team's an absolute disaster. They just, I mean, how's Josh McDaniels a coach in 2023? I thought we learned our lesson. I thought we've
in
learned
2010 with Denver. Like come on, man. He's not.
What's his resume? I worked under Bill Belichick, and he had success, and so for that reason, I have success. It's like, and Tom Brady.
He's got the worst resume in NFL history.
And somehow he's a coach, and I love their game plan this year. Let's be competitive in the AFC West, and let's get Jimmy Garoppolo. That's gonna do it. When we have Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson in our division, let's go out there and get paid Jimmy Garoppolo $70 million. Brilliant. Couldn't have thought of that.
And not to roast the Raiders too much, but like if Jimmy doesn't go and if Aiden O'Connell goes in this game, then it's not even a close game at all. Like the Packers will absolutely annihilate the Raiders, as we saw. Aiden O'Connell isn't really ready. So either way, even if Jimmy goes, it'll make it closer. But yeah, it's rough, man.
Khalil Mack was one sack away from the all-time record against Aiden O'Connell. But yeah, I mean, poor Max Crosby and Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, they deserve better. They're great players. And surprisingly, this game still might stay close, but I think the Packers will come in here and they're looking for a win after last week's loss.
Yeah, it's in Vegas on a primetime game. Could be somewhat close, but the Raiders are kind of imploding internally right now. So I got to go the Packers. I think they'll cover that 2-point spread. And yeah, fun covering all the games this week. Some fun games, especially the primetime games. Stay tuned to those. Stay tuned to the NFL Seekers podcast. Like, subscribe if you like the video. And yeah, thanks for joining, Josh.
Yeah, thank you. And possibly my power rankings episode coming out in the next couple days. We're going to be getting that ready. It'll be a fun episode. So definitely stay tuned for that coming up.
Yeah, we've been wanting to get some bonus content out to you guys. So yeah, thanks for tuning into the NFL Seekers podcast. Peace.
Sure.